Hi guys, it's Amajot and okay, so look, I'm a coach. I sometimes I'm a life coach, I'm a resilience coach. I work with people on burnout, on feeling more empowered in living their lives, right? And so sometimes I go through this stuff of needing to have my shit together because I have perfectionist tendencies. It's like, well, you know, I should be in certain places, and it feels vulnerable to admit that sometimes. But the fact is, I'm human. Okay, so and actually, this conversation's been coming up a lot with some of my coaching clients, some of my colleagues, and for myself as well. And I think it's worth sharing something around the stress of being a perfectionist or feeling like a perfectionist or having perfectionist tendencies, because I try and avoid saying I am a perfectionist, because I am suggests that I've become that thing, and I am not. Perfectionist, being a perfectionist doesn't define me, and or I don't want it to. So I do sometimes refer to being a recovering perfectionist, as Brené Brown says, because that allows me to accept that I have perfectionist tendencies and I want them to be different. And it allows me to accept myself for who I am as often as possible, which is one of my values, is self-acceptance. And I just wanted to remind you of a few things if this ever occurs for you. But where it can feel stressful in life is when you're used to, for whatever reason, you have perfectionist traits, you like things to be a certain way, and you maybe you find that if they're not a certain way, it feels stressful. It feels like your tummy's churning. It feels like you have to control things. Like literally, it just feels like this. There's a tightness, there's a stress, there's an anxiety around how can I fix this? And that might be conscious or it might be subconscious. And I wanted to remind you of a few things. That firstly, accepting yourself for who you are, or how you are, actually, for accepting yourself for how you are, can really help to minimize the stress. It's not to say that it won't be there, but if you've got and why it comes up. So going back a step, self-awareness. Why do these things happen? I'm always curious as to why something happens, because it means that I can make a change if it's not useful for me. Okay, so if I think about where I feel stressful as with my perfectionist tendencies, is where things don't feel in my control. Life situations, if there's changes around work or a job, or how I'm progressing in my work, if there's uncertainty in that area, if there's uncertainty in relationships, if say you're starting a new relationship and everything might be going really well, but if it's different to what you're used to, and you like to have structure, you like to know what's happening, because that's just the type of person you are, then it can feel stressful. And if you are this way, then most likely you've been told to chill out, you've been told to not take things so seriously, you've been told that you should be more spontaneous. I love being more spontaneous. It does help me to chill out, and it does help me to feel more relaxed and have more fun, actually. It doesn't necessarily help me feel more relaxed, but it helps me have more fun. So yes, I do like being spontaneous, but I don't want to do it to the detriment of who I already am, in the sense of changing myself, because wanting to have things a certain way and wanting to have structure is not seen as good enough by other people. So I'm talking again, self-acceptance, self-awareness. You are who you are. Yes, there's changes you can make. And then self-acceptance and awareness around the situation. So it's okay for things to be messy. Accepting that things are messy right now and some things are out of your control. Okay, what can we do? And this is where I think using your perfectionist superpowers can be useful, is what can you control? what can you create structure with? So for me, if there's uncertainty about, I don't know, like the next piece of work I'm going to be doing, having your own business means you have to create your next piece of work. You have to understand where it's coming from. You have to plan ahead, all of that stuff. So so I need a structure around that to make sure that I'm feeling good about the things that I can control and can't control. So structure for me means having a regular routine, knowing what I'm going to be doing every day, knowing who I'm serving every day, and making sure that I get my downtime in as well, because then I can tend to overwork. If there's, say, in my health, for example, if there's uncertainty in my health, then for me, it's researching, it's creating structure around, okay, researching how I'm feeling, what's going on. And by research, I don't mean Googling my symptoms, I mean making an appointment with my functional medicine doctor, or it's understanding what's going on in my body and asking my body what it needs. Does it need rest? And then making those things happen. It can mean journaling something. It's what can I manage, what structure do I need in my life to help the uncertain things in my life. And that can apply to anybody, whether you feel like you have perfectionist tendencies or not. So I hope this is useful for you, and I hope this is making sense, because it's a complex topic, and how you feel is going to be different to how I feel. But I hope it's giving you a few nuggets. And I think the essence of it is that when you're used to wanting or needing control, and everybody is around you has told you you're a perfectionist, has told you to chill out, has told you to be more relaxed, has told you to be more spontaneous, you feel not good enough. And I just want to remind you that it's okay. It's okay for life to be messy. It's okay for you to move through that life and that mess how it feels right for you. And if you were to look at how things are needed for you, where do you need safety? Because ultimately this is about feeling safe. So where can you feel safe? Where can you create structure in your life, in your relationships? So if it's a new relationship, or if it's a relationship that you're having troubles with, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or a family member or a work colleague, and it feels uncertain, you don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next, you don't know how you're going to feel from one day to the next, conversations are really useful, and they might feel difficult, but they're useful. Saying, actually, I feel out of control here, or this feels messy, and just sharing how you feel can help you to bring in some structure, some much needed structure. So I hope those are useful little nuggets for you. And that's enough for me today. Amajot, over and out.